Hello, my name is James Trimble and I'm the Head of Secondary at South Coast Baptist College. We recognise that the end of Year 10 is a crossroad for our secondary students. Selecting subjects for Year 11 can often seem like a daunting process. Students often sense that the choices that they're making extend well beyond their classes for next year and can impact their future. For these reasons, we aim to make the subject selection process as stress-free as possible. Our hope is that by arming students and their families with the necessary information and advice, students will feel empowered to make the choice best suited to their abilities and aspirations. In the cover letter that was sent to you with the Year 11 Subject Selections Handbook, you will notice that each student has been provided with a pathway recommendation by his or her teachers. This is to help direct student subject choices. This recommendation has been made with careful consideration, based on each student's past performance and best chance of future success. The three main pathways available to students in Years 11 and 12 are as follows. Firstly, the University Atar pathway. This is the traditional university pathway, requiring students to select from Atar courses. Secondly, the non-Atar university pathway. And this is a pathway to university through a uni preparation course such as FlexiTrack High or TLC, which provides students with a nominal Atar of 70 if they pass the course and successfully complete their studies in general courses. And finally, there is the General Vet pathway, in which students engage in a mix of certificate studies and general courses. All three pathways lead to the achievement of a Western Australian Certificate of Education and have the potential to open up a world of opportunities for our students. Our teachers are already providing advice to students as to recommended courses for next year. For those who would like some additional support to make the best choices, we'll be holding a Year 11 Subject Selections Evening, providing students and parents with the opportunity to book appointments with heads of learning areas to have any questions answered. Following this evening, a link to our digital subject selections will be sent to all families of students in Year 10. This selection process will take place online and students will have 1 week to enter their preferences for next year. We hope that you find the presentations in these videos helpful, and for those of you who would like further advice after consulting our handbook, we look forward to seeing you at our Subject Selections Evening. We also look forward to partnering with families to best position our students for future success.
Welcome parents and students. I'm Ms. Thomas, Deputy Head of Curriculum, and I coordinate and monitor academic progress across Year 7 to 12 in consultation with the Heads of Learning. I work closely with all the Heads of Learning and Mr. Scott, our VET Coordinator and Careers Advisor, to provide counselling and support to Year 11 and 12 students at various checkpoints in the academic year, to ensure that students are well placed in their pathways of choice and that they attain the WACE, which is the Western Australian Certificate of Education. As a college, we are committed to focusing our attention on intentionally shaping the learning of our students, to think critically and creatively, and to persevere in their application to their learning, and to ensure they achieve to their full potential. Our approach is evidenced by our excellent WACE results, and over the years, SEB students have achieved Atar scores in the 90s, with our top ranking students achieving 99.60. Our students have also received a number of awards from SCASA, which include certificates of distinction and excellence over the years. Our course offerings for Atar English have been ranked in the top 15 schools in WA. And many of our Atar and TAFE students have achieved great success in post-school destinations in an array of careers. The Year 11 and 12 WACE courses at South Coast Baptist College offer students a broad range of course options which cater for different academic levels and post-school options. By offering a range of subjects, we encourage all students to develop their areas of strength and passion, enabling every student to excel and flourish in their areas of strength as they mature into young adults. In this presentation, we will discuss the requirements for achieving the WACE for the duration of Year 11 and 12, so that our students can choose the approach and courses that will best suit them and set them up on their pathways for successful post-school destinations. And we will also discuss guidance regarding the Year 11 course selections process at South Coast Baptist College. In Year 10, students are counselled to select 6 WACE course offerings aligned with one of the 3 main pathways to maximise their achievement and meet WACE requirements. That would be the University Atar pathway, the University non-Atar pathway, and the General Vet pathway. This pathway is for students with strong academic standing who are aiming to achieve an Atar score for direct university entry and ranking. Typical course selections for each academic year for Year 11 and 12 include a selection of the following: either 6 Atar courses or 5 Atar courses plus 1 general course, and this will also include writing the Year 12 external WACE exam at the end of Year 12 in order to achieve an Atar score. Atar stands for an Australian Tertiary Admission Ranking. Please refer to the Year 11 and 12 handbook for all the Atar course selection prerequisites for enrolments into these courses. Heads of learning and subject teachers are there to provide advice and support in counselling students according to the requisites of these subjects. This pathway is for students aspiring to university, but who, for a variety of reasons, may not be well suited to the rigour of Atar courses. Students on this pathway enrol in general courses in Year 11 and are required to demonstrate strong academic performance to qualify for the following university enabling courses in Year 12. One of those courses is the Flexi-Track program, for which the achievement of a B grade in Year 11 General English is required. And another pathway would be selecting the TLC course, which is run after school. Successful completion of these courses will provide students with a nominal ATAR of 70 for university entry. Typical course selections for each academic year will include a minimum of 5 general courses. And then in Year 12, course selections include 5 general courses plus the Murdoch Flexi-Track course, or if students are doing the TLC 10 program, this will run after school and they could do 5 general courses, including another subject like workplace learning. Alternatively, high-achieving students within the general courses may also choose to work towards obtaining a Cert 4 in place of one of the general subjects, which provides another opportunity for university entry. Please see Mr. Scott if you wish to pursue this option. The Vocational Education and Training, or VET course options, offer a broad range of diverse post-school opportunities for students on the general VET pathway. VET students must complete at least one certificate course as integral to achieving the WACE, and they are permitted to study one day off campus to complete either a TAFE certificate course or workplace learning. Typical course selections would include a VET course, which could be a Cert 2 or a Cert 3 or 4, in combination with 5 other courses, which could include general courses as well as a foundation course or even scarcer endorsed courses, an example of which would be workplace learning. So here's an example of typical selections: a combination of 5 general courses, including possibly a foundation course in maths or English, plus one VET course off campus, as in TAFE, or a combination of 4 general courses, including a foundation course, and one workplace learning, which would take place off campus, or 4 general courses, one VET course on campus, and then one workplace learning off campus. Please note that under the guidance of Mr. Scott, students intending to participate in VET courses at TAFE, that is off campus, or workplace learning, which is off campus, need to submit applications for placement with external TAFE organizations and other training providers, and workplace students will be required to attend an interview for placement in a workplace. In order to achieve a WAIS, students need to satisfy a number of requirements. The first aspect that we look at is the breadth and depth of study. Students need to complete a minimum of 20 WAIS units of study over the course of Year 11 and 12, including a minimum of 10 units in Year 12. Please note that each WAIS course consists of 2 units. For example, a Year 11 Atar English course consists of Units 1 and 2, and a Year 12 Atar Maths course consists of Units 3 and 4. So as you can see, 2 units equals 1 subject. Students will also need to complete 4 units of English during Year 11-12, which just means they need to complete a subject for each year in English. Students will also need to complete courses from List A and B categories. List A would include arts, languages, and social sciences, and List B courses would include math, science, and technology. Another aspect is looking at the achievement standard. Students need to achieve a minimum of 14 C grades out of 20 units of study, and a minimum of 6 C grades in Year 12. They will also need to achieve the minimum standard for literacy and numeracy, either through NAPLAN or OLNA, which takes place from Year 10. You will find all this information in the Year 11 handbook with subject descriptions and prerequisites. You've received a lot of information about requirements. It is now up to the Year 10 student to reflect on what will best suit them and reflect on an engaging and appropriate career pathway. And I would recommend the following steps. First of all, a Year 10 student would need to do a self-assessment and identify his or her strengths, interests, aspirations, skills, and learning and working style. Once a student has established where their interests lie, I would also suggest step 2, which is exploring post-school opportunities. And this could mean speaking to people at various institutions and exploring different ways to achieve a qualification. And one would need to consider whether you need a university or TAFE qualification, or a student may be thinking of entry into the workplace through an apprenticeship or various other alternatives. Step 3 would be reviewing and reflecting on the WAIS requirements and what would work for you as a student who needs to study these courses over the next 2 years. Step 4 would be reviewing your current performance in Year 10 and achievement, and also looking at teacher recommendations, which will be included in the information pack. Step 5. Select 6 courses to meet WAIS requirements and according to your recommended pathway. Step 6. Set Semester 2 goals for Year 10. Step 7. Review Year 11 subject choices and academic goals at various checkpoints. At the end of Year 10, during Year 11 in Term 1, Week 5, at the end of Year 11, Semester 1, and at the end of Year 11, and lastly, in Year 12, no later than Week 4. For more guidance, Year 11 and 12 WACE Achievement and guidance for WACE Atar General and Foundation courses, please contact myself, Ms. Thomas. You may also find it useful to speak to your HOLAs and your subject teachers. For VET and work placement learning and general career guidance, Mr. Scott is available. You can make an appointment with him as well. And then for specific course information and subject recommendations and talking through the course prerequisites, you can do this with the heads of learning for each learning area, and you can also do this with your Year 11 and 12 WACE course teachers. The HOLAs can actually recommend who you need to speak to. The Year 10s will make their course selections over the next 2 weeks and will be expected to complete their course selections online by the set date outlined in our letter to parents. In Term 3, the Year 10s who would like to make an application for external VET and or workplace learning, these students will receive guidance for completing applications from Mr. Scott. All Year 10 students are encouraged to ask questions and seek advice from heads of learning and their subject teachers who are best placed to provide information about course content and feedback on academic progress. Continuous review and some adjustments made, as well as consistent application, should see students better placed to succeed in Year 11 and 12 if they start this journey in Year 10 and in the first weeks of Year 11 to maximize their achievement on selected pathways. The key is to work consistently and choose subjects that you are interested in and will enjoy. We encourage parents to discuss and explore the post-school options with their young adults, revisiting the topic as needed and, if need be, in consultation with Mr. Scott for general career advice. Together with the teaching staff, I look forward to working with parents and students regarding Year 11 and 12 curriculum-related matters in preparation for 2021.
Hello, my name is John Scott and I am the Secondary Careers Advisor at the College. In this short address, I would like to share with you some thoughts about how work is expected to evolve into the future and how a vocational pathway can help prepare you. You have likely heard of the acronym STEM. It stands for Science, Technology, Engineering and Maths. STEM refers not just to these disciplines, but also to a cross-disciplinary approach to them. The ability to apply concepts from multiple disciplines is essential to solving many of today's global problems. This includes the arts and areas such as visual arts and game development. These are areas set to deliver a wealth of career opportunities, some of which haven't been invented yet. STEM skills are important to all careers and key to a complete education. Higher order skill development in STEM disciplines such as critical thinking and creative problem solving are relevant in all roles and are essential to ensure a future workforce that is adaptable, flexible and innovative. Automation, globalization and technology are transforming the tasks and activities people perform in their occupations, often reshaping jobs rather than removing them altogether. It is predicted that on average most workers will spend more time completing non-routine cognitive tasks as these are the least susceptible to automation. By 2030, workers are expected to spend double the amount of time solving problems and 75% more of their time using science and maths skills. For these reasons, I would say it is important to select a maths and science-based subject in each of years 11 and 12, irrespective of whether you intend choosing an Atar pathway or not. Turning now to address what's available in the college in relation to vocational pathways. The first observation that I would like to make is that the program is very popular among senior students. I attribute this to the wide range of possibilities that are available to students who see themselves following a vocational career and also to students who see themselves going to university but requiring a pathway that is an alternative to Atar. On this latter point, there are currently 14 students across years 11 and 12 who are studying Certificate 4 level qualifications with university as their post-school destination, and 2 Year 12 students are studying a diploma in business with the intent to provide themselves a pathway to study at UWA. So, from a practical sense, what's available? South Metropolitan TAFE has recently released its Vet in Schools program for 2021. This offers a wide range of vet programs, most of which are at the Certificate 2 level, but some are at the Certificate 3 and Certificate 4 level. Most of the trade pathway programs are offered on a 1-day per week basis over 2 years and require work placements that are to be completed during the school holidays. Being government-provided training, these qualifications are fee-free. To complement this, there is a growing range of fee-for-service Vet in Schools programs that are offered by private training providers that includes programs such as the Certificate 3 in Individual Support Ageing, Certificate 3 and Certificate 4 in Education Support, the Certificate 4 in Business, and the Certificate 4 in Live Production and Technical Services, the latter offered at WAPA. Not every student in the middle of Year 10 can see a pathway for themselves with sufficient confidence to commit to doing a vocational qualification. Alongside the VET program sits the Workplace Learning program. This year there are around 35 students studying the WACE subject called Workplace Learning. Although this program does not result in a nationally recognised vocational qualification, it does result in the student gaining 2 WACE points each year of Year 11 and 12, and they have a logbook to add to their portfolio of evidence that shows a prospective employer that they have done over 220 hours of work placement in industry if they take the program over 2 years. The program is very flexible. The work placements are found in businesses that are aligned with the student's stated preference, and the 4 semesterised placements can be done in different industries or different businesses within the same industry. In this sense, it is very much student-driven. In my observation, the program is well suited to a student who is not quite sure of which pathway they wish to follow, and it offers the student the chance to try before you buy, while still accruing points towards the WACE. Where to from here? It is my intent to interview every student who selects a vocational pathway, which includes workplace learning, commencing early in Term 3. During this process, I will be wanting to know whether you have formed a view of what it is that you want to do in your post-school life, and then discuss with you what options are available in terms of selecting pathways that will lead to you fulfilling your aspirations. If you are yet to form a view on what it is that you wish to do in the future, then we will discuss some strategies regarding selecting subjects that leave as many options as possible open to you. For the purpose of subject selections, students wishing to take the general VET pathway should select their options from the general courses. Together, during your individual course counselling session, we will select a vocational qualification or workplace learning that is best suited to your goals and aspirations. Thank you for listening.
Hi Year 10s. I'm looking forward to 2022 and hopefully you are just as excited as I am for what lies ahead. Outside of the academic program, there are many events to look forward to, starting with the Year 11 and 12 ball, which this year was held at Fraser's in Kings Park. I'm also currently busy planning the finer details of this year's Year 11 camp to Rottnest, and bookings for next year will soon be on my horizon. At school, the level of expectations and responsibilities will certainly rise, and as the demands increase, students will have to find the right balance of work, rest, and play. So my role as head of Year 11 is to do my best to support you with all the challenges that lie ahead. You will need to think about things like commitments that you are taking on, such as part-time work, sporting teams, and you'll have to think, how do these fit into my end goals, and how much time do I need to put aside for study? So please take time to consider what your priorities are for the next 2 years and then plan appropriately. What you achieve and take away from years 11 and 12 will be largely up to you. But myself and my fellow teachers will be here to help guide you along this way. So hopefully, with all the information presented, you will be able to make the right choices on pathways and courses, ensuring that you are in classes that you're actually excited about. It also helps to have an end goal to keep yourself motivated along the way. So start thinking about what that may be and what options you want to keep open. The first step to success will be taking in all the information that's available, ensuring that you make the right choices for you. Thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best for 2022 and beyond.
Well, hello, my name's Nathan Tibbetts. I'm the head of the Maths department, and I'm just going to be explaining a little bit about how the Atar system works, how students' scores are calculated, and just a bit of information that might help students to decide their subjects for the next 2 years. So the Atar stands for Australian Tertiary Admissions Rank, and the score that students get as their Atar gives an indication of their ranking compared to other students in Australia, and is not the score that they've necessarily achieved within their assessments. So for example, an Atar of 70 would indicate that the student was better than 30% of the other students in the state. An Atar of 98.5 doesn't necessarily mean that they were achieving 98% on their assessments, but rather that they were in the top 1.5% of students for their achievement. So students will be required to select Atar English as well as another set of 5 subjects that they will choose. At the end of year 12, the students will have their achievement scores for those subjects, but in terms of determining their Atar, only the top 4 are selected. You may notice that while this student has done 6 subjects, only 4 were selected, and of course English wasn't one of them. However, most or many universities would require a student to pass English. So even though it wasn't one of their top 4, they still meet that competency of passing English, and therefore they have direct access or entry into university. And it doesn't matter that it wasn't one of their top 4, so long as they've actually passed the course. So the question many students ask is, why pick 6 subjects when they're only going to use 4? And there's 2 good answers to that. The first one is that many students in year 10 may have an idea of their strengths and passions, but when they go into those specific Atar courses, some of those change a little bit over the course of year 11 and 12. So you want a bit of freedom to be able to drop a subject at a later point if need be. Second of all, in some cases, the achievement of perhaps your 3rd and 4th best subject or 5th best subject might be very close to each other, and you really don't know how you're going to go in that final exam at the end of year 12. So having 5 or 6 subjects just ensures that you've got a better chance of getting your best Atar. Students also need to be aware of the minimum university entry requirements. So as an example, most universities in Perth would require a minimum Atar of around 70, meaning they need to be in the top 30% of year 12 students. However, for UWA, the minimum entry is usually 80. And so students hoping to go to UWA would need achievement that is within the top 20% of year 12 students. That being said, there are specific course requirements within those universities that you would want to be looking into over the course of year 10 and I guess even year 11 and 12 as well. So here are some examples on the screen of various courses. These scores were retrieved from the university website a while back, but they do change all the time as well based on demand. So if you have a particular course in mind, you would want to be checking that regularly or closer to the end of year 12, just to be sure that you're on track for your goal. I'm just going to be referring to some of those specific cutoffs to give you an indication of what sort of achievement would actually give you an Atar of 70 or an Atar of 98. So an Atar of 70 would typically mean you're averaging about 55% in your top 4 subjects. And as we go through this list here, we'll see that for example, medicine through the Broadway system would require you to have an ATAR of 96, and this means you're averaging about 77% on your top 4 subjects. Now, some of those percentages might seem a little bit lower than you would have thought, but you also need to bear in mind that those are the scores that you would need after scaling. So subjects are adjusted for difficulty, and if you are in an easier subject, your raw score will be scaled down somewhat. And those numbers on the screen will be what you need to achieve after scaling. So for example, if you take ATAR applications, typically that subject is scaled down about 5%. So if your goal is to get 55% minimum entry and you're using applications as one of your subjects, you would need to get about 60% overall, so that after that 5% scaling, you have the 55 target. In the same way for medicine, if you were hoping for that 77, but you're taking a range of subjects that get scaled down, they would need to be closer to 82% on average, so that after scaling, you have the 77 target. So you should start speaking to the teachers of the subjects that you are considering enrolling in, and perhaps ask them what the average scaling is. The other thing that you'd want to be considering is what specific course requirements are necessary for the university course you're looking at. And lastly, be mindful that South Coast is a part of the Broadway program, as we're in the Peel region. And so this means that you have the benefit of a bonus that may be applied to your ATAR course in certain instances. For example, medicine normally requires closer to an ATAR of 98, but when we're a part of the Broadway system, the allocation there is that you only need about 96. Some example course requirements is occupational therapy and physiotherapy usually require you to take one science course. This means that even if you've achieved the overall scores that are required to get into physiotherapy, if you haven't done one of those prerequisites, you may not be able to get directly into the course. Medicine at many universities require ATAR chemistry to be achieved, and engineering has quite a few prerequisites as well. Now, a prerequisite means you need to take the course and you need to pass it. But again, it doesn't have to be one of the top 4. Just needs to achieve a pass to meet that prerequisite. So thanks for listening. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask me. Otherwise, you can speak to the relevant teachers of the ATAR subjects. Thanks.